What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And welcome to some Forza Horizon 5. Welcome to a DLC car. Now this is the McLaren Saber, and according to you guys that watch my videos, it's absolutely dog shit. So for today, I wanted to try it out for myself and see if you guys are correct. Is this thing actually dog shit? So here's the thing. This is a DLC car. This was added with one of the newest car packs. Well, the newest car pack as you're watching this video right now. It looks cool. I don't know what it does. It replace anything? Is it made to be like I said, like a replacement for something? Is it just making its own class? Did McLaren just make this thing just to have a more unique car so they can sell? I have no idea about anything to do with the McLaren Saber. So yeah. We're going to have a quick little look around it, as we're doing right now. And then, obviously, I'm going to take it out and drive it a little bit and see what the deal is with it. And why do people say that it's bad? It looks cool. It reminds me a lot of, like, a longer, like, KTM Crossbow Expo GT4. Am I the only one that's thinking that? It's just kind of like a longer version of it. Is this what this is supposed to be up against? Or hopefully not, because the KTM doesn't really have a lot of power, and this thing has a lot of power. 1,478 kilos, which is really good. Mid-engine rear-wheel drive, 824. It's got the 4-liter twin-turbo V8, which I'm pretty sure is the same as like in the Senate and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little faster than the Senate in terms of stats. We looked at the McLaren Artura yesterday, and we found out that it's a really, really good car. And then people were saying that that car should be the one that's in the DLC, and then this one shouldn't be in the DLC. Yeah, let's just drive it. Let's have like first impressions. The first time driving this thing. I've never actually. Why does it sound like that? Is that what this thing is supposed to sound like? Holy understeer. I'm not even going that fast. Brakes are good. I think it's like carbon ceramics is standard. Why does it sound like a motorbike engine? Am I the only one that thinks that this sounds like a... sounds like a bike engine? It's not particularly grippy, weirdly enough, for a car that has like a lot of weird fins and Jesus, a lot of weird fins and swoops and things in the actual bodywork that most likely make this thing as aerodynamic as possible and make it produce a lot of downforce. It's not particularly grippy, the rear corners. Why does it have such a weird sound? Surely all these McLarens that have the 4-liter V8 twin turbo, they all sound the same. Why does this one sound like this? This doesn't sound like a flat panel crank at all. It just sounds weird. Am I the only one that's thinking that? It just... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't know about this engine. I really like the brakes on it though. Apart from that, I think acceleration wise it's quick enough. It's just weirdly not grippy at all. I mean, that's what it's like completely stock. Let's do some stuff to it and see what we can change. Can we make it grippier? In yesterday's video, when we were looking at... Yeah, what? 245s? What is McLaren up to? Seriously. McLaren was just given their cars really, really thin front tires. Like yesterday's McLaren had 235s on it, and this has got 245s on it. Is that always a thing? We can't really change anything here. It's just canards, and then for the rear end, what does it add? How is this not adjustable? Well, I guess probably because it's not adjustable, but it just looks like it would be, though, doesn't it? That's a bit mad. Abandon the setup real quick. So what is adjustable on this thing? So suspension is already on race suspension. Aero is not adjustable. Diff isn't adjustable. And then obviously the gears aren't. Okay. Very weird. Really, really weird. So we can now all-wheel drive swap it as well. But I'm going to keep it as a rear-wheel drive. I'll build it to the top of S1 or something like that. Ideally, I just want more grip with it. I mean, this jacks up the grip. Handling is a 7.1, it just goes up to 7.4. Acceleration is just, like, slightly better. Braking is improved by a lot. 8.6 is actually weirdly, like, bad. Because I thought this was going to be really good for braking. In the stats, anyway. So with that, we're already now up past S1 into S2. And we haven't really done anything except for add tires to it. It's a bit weird. It's a bit high in the class, isn't it? For what it's actually capable of doing. We do weight reduction on this thing. I'm kind of tempted to just leave it like this. And just to see what we can adjust with it. Transmission. I mean, that'll do all of that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring this thing back into... Is there actually no possibility of bringing this thing back into thing? Do I have to actually give it like some worse wheels? I think I genuinely have to give it some worse wheels. Here, we'll just give it these ADV ones. It doesn't really matter. So is that everything that we can really just buy for this thing? What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to keep it in S1. To compare it to every other car that we've had in S1. I'm going to bring it over onto a track and, well, not every other car, but just bring it on a track and see what it's like. Like this. 2.1 lateral G's apparently for that. So not really much is... I definitely wanted the diff. That's 100% something that I wanted to do. Alright, one sec. Let me slap a little bit of a quick tune on this thing. And then we'll take it out and test it. I mean, in S1 we have some absolutely unbelievable cars. I just feel like this is just not one of them. And after this I want to build it all the way up into S2. Just give it everything possible. And see what it's capable of then. Why is it understeer so badly? Am I even on sim steering? I am on sim steering. It just... I don't get it. It's like the front end just doesn't want to have grip. I can see why people are calling this thing absolute dog. Alright, let's take it out on an actual track. And see what it's like. It's actually something different. This isn't a track that I've played for a while, so... It's something interesting. It is a really, really good track though. The Edel circuit or Edel circuit, however you want to pronounce this thing. It's actually a really, really good track. I just haven't really done much on this thing. It's slightly different to the one from yesterday, but again, it does have a mixture of really, really good corners and speed. So I made this thing now try to maybe cancel out its oversteer, or sorry, its understeer a little bit with the way I built my suspension, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much. So surprisingly, a lot of... I think the diff is really nice. I think that the way the transmission is set up, I can like floor it out of corners though. And my rear wheels just don't slip. And this thing has like almost 900 horsepower. So the combination of my diff setup with the transmission and obviously the grip from the tires is really, really good for it. Like, I can floor out of corners and it's nice. You get absolutely no slip. It seems like it's a safe car to drive around, but it just doesn't feel very, very rapid. I also think I want to bring it out on... I like the pops and bangs though on the liftoff. Or when I change down a gear, I think is what happens. Nah, when I lift off as well. It's just a weird sounding engine, isn't it? Am I wrong in saying that? All these games, Gran Turismo was a little bit better, I think, but all these games need to add a lot more bass to their car sounds. I think that's what they're missing. I feel like a lot of the time when we're racing this, like that's why this sounds like a motorbike engine now, because it just doesn't have that oomph from the engine, right? Like when if you're ever like next to a car in real life, or you hear it like driving down the road or whatever, it doesn't sound like this. Like the cars have bass. They have they shake. Like it's just, I don't know, man. It's the feeling of the car sounds in this game just weird. And they just don't capture it properly. They don't have that rumble to any of the engines or any of the exhausts. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of the Audi RS6s and RS7. That's what this engine reminds me of. It sounds a bit like that. Am I wrong in saying that? It sounds a lot like that. Actually, I really want to see now. Does this sound exactly like it? Is it the same engine noise? Because if it is, that is a completely wrong engine noise. One sec. I need to take it out now. Okay. Audi RS7. What's this sound like? It's the same sound. Tell me that that is not a similar sound. That is just the wrong noise. So weird. Let's listen to this, right? Because I think this engine here, the Senna engine, actually even the 720S or whatever, let's listen to the Senna engine and how this thing sounds. Because I feel like the Sabre should sound like this. This is what a flat plank crank should sound like. It's a smooth V8, it's not a rumbly V8. What is this car? It's such an awkward class as well, because it's so high up on, like, I guess, in the class. Okay, if I make it all-wheel drive, I wonder if that will get rid of... Oh no, I was gonna say, what if I do that? But now, it's just done all of this. Let's get rid of those tires. So like I said, I'm gonna max this thing out, give it the best possible everything that I possibly can give it, you know. And I guess I'll be right back once I'm done with that. Well, we're done. Our lateral G's go up by a little bit. Weight doesn't really go up by that much because I made it all-wheel drive, but I don't really want to have 1,200 horsepower just going to the rear wheels because I feel like it just won't be a good car to drive. So all-wheel drive, I feel like it's the necessary number for, or it's the necessary thing to do here. Okay, now I have to retune this thing again. Alright, it's now at 967. The acceleration is significantly nicer. Still a tiny bit of understeer, but it's a little better actually. It is a little bit better. Doesn't oversteer at all, so my setup is quite good for that. Oh, I need to go down here as I can. So cornering flat out at about 150 miles an hour is possible. Oh god. Way too fast for that one though. Alright, let's bring it out on a little Rivals event. Let's see what it's like. I don't really expect this thing to be unreal at anything, but I want to try to give it a shot anyway. I think Playa Azul would be a really good one to try it out on. You know why? Because it has smooth corners. And you can see if this thing understeers or oversteers just with these smooth corners. And it should be a good one. It should be a good one. So I made this thing have a lot of downforce, not a lot of top speed. So it should be interesting to drive like that. For the tighter corners, I think it's good. Even when it was just rear wheel drive, it was very good. But it's such a weird class to build this thing up to. It's as standard. It's basically just on the verge of going into S1, so anything you do to it, it'll just drop up into S2. And then in S2, you can't even max it out in S2. A lot of understeer there. That's probably my driving as well. And it's just such a kind of a in-between classes type of build. You know, like, it's at, what, 960 something? Can't for it in that corner, by the looks of things. Here, what do I have to do? Okay, can't just lift off here. Still understeers, man. It's just still... You just have to drive so slow to be able to do anything with it. I'm not expecting this thing to be anywhere near any sort of leaderboard numbers. Again, it's not even at the top of its class. But I just want to see how it fares. Jesus, man. Why is it so bad? I don't get why they made it so bad. Like, the McLaren Senna would shit all over this thing. McLaren Saber is actually like a much better car than this, in whatever class you want it to be in. I think even stock, the Senna is better than this. I just want to set a time on it. I don't crash the walls. Slow down so much for these corners as well. And you know, maybe a tiny bit faster for some of them. But because of how I've driven in the last lap, it just makes it seem like I can't. It just feels like I'm gonna end up smashing into one of the walls. It's not a slow car, but it's just not a good car. Oh, here we go. See, when I tap at the brakes, just even with the way I built it, when I tap the brakes there, I want the front end to start pulling inwards a little bit. Which is how the build should work. But it just doesn't. Here, I have to slow down again. Just doesn't have the grip to actually do anything decent in the corners. That sucks, man. Very disappointing car. Probably one of the worst ones out of these car packs. Nah, we've had worse cars, but this is definitely up there with looking unreal and thinking. Looking unreal and thinking it was going to be really good, and then it just turns out to be just this. 56.6. Where does that put me in the world, by the way? 56.6, just as a reference. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like top 25,000. Jesus, that is terrible. Well, I guess that'll be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Even though the car was a bit boring and a bit bad. It is bad. It just is. You can't build it for anything proper. Because this is, like I said, it's such a weird point in classes where you can't actually build it so you can use it for anything, you know? You can just use it to have a little bit of fun and whatever, but apart from that, it's not competitive, and I think the sound is just off. Weirdly. I don't know. regardless, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.